What's going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday to everyone. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy. If you had to take a COVID test, hopefully you have tested negative. If you did test positive, I hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long COVID issues. It is time now for the Tuesday edition of the Pandemic Update for Tuesday, October 10th, 2023. It's been a few days since our last pandemic update. Really wasn't a lot of new data over the weekend. There were some news items out there, but I didn't want to repeat some data over again. You may have seen me tweet, though, over the weekend about Steely Dan. We'll talk about that in just a moment. We'll also get to some new data that just came in, Walgreens, and I want to take a look at a few wastewater sites today and see what's going on. And of course, we'll take a look at all the states that we usually look at. So let's get into it. That's a lot to cover. First off, Steely Dan. They had to drop out of the Eagles tour as Donald Hagen is reportedly hospitalized with an illness. The Steve Miller Band will fill in for them. We don't know if it's COVID, but you can kind of speculate that's COVID for two big reasons. Number one, the Indy Star, which is a news agency, also reported that 5 Eagles crew members, the people that help get ready for the show, set up everything for the band, well, 5 Eagles crew members recently tested positive for COVID. Then there's the fact that we have seen time and time again multiple different bands or people or entertainer, whoever, saying, oh, so-and-so is currently down with the illness, the show will be canceled. Then we'll see a follow-up article several weeks, several months later that says so-and-so actually had COVID. We'll have to see if that happens with this one. And the one thing that does surprise me is Don Henley actually told the crowd at one of the shows that Steely Dan frontman Donald Fagen had been hospitalized and thanked Steve Miller for filling in at the last moment. So he was actually straightforward with the crowd and said, hey, here's what's going on with the Steely Dan, and Donald Hagen is currently in the hospital. All right, there's also this, not so much news, more so data, but Singapore, new COVID wave begins. Estimated daily cases have risen from about 1,000 3 weeks ago to 2,000 for the past 2 weeks. And you can see that on the chart here. Cases have taken a rise. So again, that's Singapore with an increase in COVID cases. We can speculate hospitalizations will start rising. As you know, everything is just like a domino effect, and it all lags each other, with the last thing that will rise would be deaths. Hopefully they don't have many, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. Not seeing death data right now. Let's take a look at air quality data in the U.S., and believe it or not, air qualities across the U.S. are not doing that bad. Generally, if you're north of that I-10, or is it I-40 corridor, you're not doing too bad. The Northeast is pretty good. The Southeast, a little concerning here in Louisiana, but quite frankly, it's not something that we're going to sit here and, diagnose and just dive into. And the West Coast, you still have some moderate air qualities in spot. California, really, when you look at it, it's about one of the worst states in the country right now, but even at that, it's just a few isolated areas. Los Angeles, for metro cities, you probably have the worst air quality out of all the major cities in the country right now. So really, overall, it's not that bad. Denver, for some reason, we're seeing one little station here that's coming up high, but overall, compared to the summer months, it's big improvements across the United States. Pacific Northwest, a little bit of bad air quality, but we're seeing a lot more green on this map, and that is something I like to see. So for many of you, you can breathe easy because your air quality is not doing all that bad. But remember, when you're in indoor settings in any places, make sure you keep them HEPA air purifiers running, because, HEPA air purifier filtration, clean air, is a big thing when it comes to COVID. And when you're going in public spaces, of course, wear your N95 mask. Taking a look at the latest heat-related illnesses, and I do have to refresh this. Let's see if it updated here. I don't think that. No, that was the recent update. You can see here, we're not going to really spend a lot of time on this anymore, because we're starting to exit the season for heat-related illnesses, though there's still quite a few down in Florida. Look at this. A lot of counties still. And Texas still has some counties. But again, this map, overall, when we take a look at the national picture, this is a big improvement from what we were seeing several weeks ago, back during summer when it was just totally ridiculous. Let's take a look at the national positivity from Walgreens. And you can see here, it's down this week. 26.4%. The prior week was 27.4%. That's a difference of down 1%. 10,955 tests this week. It says 9,264 tests last week, but I recall reporting last week 11,000 tests. I don't know what made that change, but maybe that was just a total by the week's end. I honestly don't know why that has changed so much. All right, let's do a few states here. We'll start in the Northeast, we'll go south, we'll go westward. Again, keyword just a few states because we also want to take a look at some wastewater data today. And some states, as you can see here in the white, did not update, Maine being one of them. New Hampshire, what's going on there? New Hampshire, current week's positivity is 31.6%. The prior week was 26.3%. That's a difference of up 5.3%, and testing's up 38 versus 19. We know the last couple of weekends there's been an increased number of tourists and people going up to New England because of the leaf peeping season. Taking a look at Massachusetts, actually down a little, but this is some good news. 31.9%. The prior week was 33.3%. Difference of down 1.4%. Total tests, 47 versus 60. So testing down, positivity down. You know what that means. It's a legitimate drop. Let's take a look at Rhode Island. Rhode Island, 36.8% this week. 31.6% last week, up 5.3%. 57 tests versus 57 tests. Connecticut is 26.1% positivity this week, 22.2% last week, up 3.9%, 88 tests versus 72. Yeah, that's a legitimate rise. And we have to take a look at New York State. New York State positivity, 48.5%. Prior week, 52%. Difference of down 3.5%. Total test, 97 versus 127. So this is a legitimate drop. Speaking of Connecticut a moment ago, I do want to see if, does anyone know if Connecticut still has their dashboard? I want to see if they still have anything on that. I would like to include that into the updates, simply because I just showed you here, and I'll show it again. Connecticut, that is upward, and that is concerning. And the Connecticut, New York, New Jersey area, the places closer to New York City, I do like to keep a closer eye on that because it does give us an idea of what may soon be coming for the rest of the country. Let's go down to Georgia. Georgia is at 24.5% this week. 20.3% last week. That's up by 4.3%. Not good. And testing, big increase in testing. 416 versus 306. That's 110 tests more. So this is a legitimate rise. South Carolina, 219 tests this week, 174 last week, with the positivity still up anyhow. Up by 5.5%, 25.6% versus 20.1%. So yes, that is up. Let's go west, shall we? Texas positivity trend is 25.5% this week. Prior week was 26.4%. Difference of down 1%. And testing, a big increase. 1,840 tests versus 1,596. I know we're skipping some states here. We're going to do some more states again on our next pandemic update, which I think is going to be tomorrow. Illinois' positivity trend, current week, 27.3%. Prior week was 29.5%. That's a difference of down 2.2%. 799 total tests. Prior week was 706 tests. I do want to include Ohio for an important reason. When we do wastewater today, unfortunately, there is not much I can show you about Ohio. We're not going to do much wastewater, just a little bit. Ohio, 23.5% this week, 30% last week. Difference of down 6.5%. Total tests, 285 versus 250. Let's continue our way westward. We'll do 3 more states. Wyoming, 20% this week. They didn't report anything last week, and 10 tests. So again, that's 20%. That's up from nothing last week. Current week for Washington is 31.6%. Prior week was 22.6%. That is up by 9%. And total tests are up 291 versus 217. Let's also go to Alaska. We have not done Alaska in a while. 16.7%. They reported nothing last week. And just 6 tests. That's hardly anything. Let's do a bonus state. California, 25.8% this week, 29.3% last week. Difference of down 3.5%. Testing's down 531 versus 539. That, my friends, is a legitimate drop. Let's take a look at some data from BioBot. I don't even remember which day this updates now because things keep changing so darn much. The Northeast on the most recent update, so this hasn't really updated. The most recent update is still rising. The rest of the country, for the most part, is flat. Just an ever so slight rise in the West Coast. Taking a look now at some CDC data. We do want to take a look at a few wastewater sites. And I'm going to move myself to the left here. I'm just going to spend about 2 minutes on this. You can see here on the national levels, there are 130 sites that are at 80 to 100%, 282 sites that are at 60 to 79%, 363 sites that are at 40 to 59%, 175 sites that are at 20 to 39%, 0 to 19% is at 43 sites, and new sites are at 76. Don't go by this percent drop. The reason being, there's a lot of sites that are not reporting. And so we don't know what some of these sites are showing. Louisiana, Arkansas, Ohio, all have sites that are not reporting right now. Let's do some West Coast sites, shall we? And taking a look at California here, we can see here, I do want to get close to San Francisco. 750,000 population, did not really update, so because of that, we do have to see if we can get a quicker update out of wastewater scan, which I know we can. So here we go for Oceanside, which is wastewater scan, and we can see here, I have to move myself back to the right again. You can see here, for COVID, it's flat at this time, but it is at high levels. Influenza is low, high RSV levels, and that's continuing to rise. HMPV is low, no Mpox, no norovirus issue. Norovirus is still low, but we do take a look at this here. It is starting to rise, so that is concerning that it's rising. And there's a whole bunch of other ones here, but we're not going to concern ourselves with those. Let's take a look. Let's go back here to the CDC website. We do want to come down here to Arizona, and Paima, hope I'm saying that correctly, is rising at this time. Then we come up here to take a look here at Utah. We do have a lot of places that are moderate to near high levels now, so that is not good. All these lighter blue shades are in the moderate range. Davis is 84,981 population and rising at this time. Let's go east a little bit. Colorado, Denver area is not doing too bad. You can see there's some that are dropping, some that are peaking. This one, Weld, this one is going straight up. That is not good to see. Let's continue east a little bit. Let's take a look at Nebraska. You can see we do have some sites here that are high, but they are dropping at this time. Hall. Here's another one that's moderate. This one, not too good. This is 600,000 population. Douglas is moderate to high, and it's starting to rise again. And you can see there's also a lot of moderate to high sites in Missouri and the St. Louis area. And you can see here, look at this. We're clicking on some sites here. Let's zoom in. This one is a decent size, 174,000, and it's continuing to rise, so that's not good to see. Here's another one, though, that's even bigger. St. Louis City, 306,000, and it's starting to drop at this time. Let's take a look at Chicago. We can't look at Chicago on the wastewater scan site. At least I don't think we can, but we can look at it here. And we can see Chicago at this time. Here we go. 1.2 million. I got to move myself to the left again so you can see this chart. 1.2 million population, and it is dropping at this time, so that's good to see. And let's go back east, and you can see there's a lot of red here. This is not good. What's going on in Center County, Pennsylvania? So the 12,000 site in Center County has dropped. Mind you, it's going to be another Penn State game weekend this weekend. Yet again, this site has dropped. They had a bye week this week, but the crowds are coming back this weekend. And you can see southeast Pennsylvania. Wow, this is not good. Look at all this red. Red and rising. I don't like this. This is not good at all. This site up here, ooh, that's concerning. I just had a doctor's appointment up there this morning. Yikes. Hopefully I stayed safe. I'm pretty sure I did, but it was a pulmonary function test, and it was something I couldn't put off any longer because my primary doctor said that, hey, I need to go and get that done. So, which I did because the coughing issues and everything. We won't get into that. But taking a look here at Delaware, Newcastle County is high, starting to drop. Down here in Sussex County, what's going on? Shore season's over. I get it, people live down there, but it's starting to rise even higher again. Not good to see that. And we see a lot of red in New Jersey. Let's quickly take a look at wastewater scan at one of the New Jersey sites, see what's going on there. And then that's going to be it for today for the wastewater. We will take a look at some more wastewater sites again tomorrow. Yeah, we'll take a look at some more sites again tomorrow, because we do have quite a bit of other data to get into. And let's take a look at central New Jersey. What's going on in Bridgewater, New Jersey? We can see here COVID is high, and it's starting to rise more. The overall trajectory is up. Influenza is low. RSV is low. HMPV is low. No Mpox. Norovirus. Most recent update shows it's starting to rise again. So that's not good to see. And hepatitis. No hepatitis is being detected at this time. All right, the latest variants, as you know, EG.5 is in the lead at 29.4%, then FL151 at 13.7%, then FV.1 at 12.9%. New update on this, hopefully, on Friday. And now let's take a look at hospitalization data and see what's going on there. 18,139 people in the hospital. Speaking of hospitalizations, how about New Jersey today? 619 people in the hospital, 30 people on a ventilator, 76 people in the ICU. That's not good. That number's gone up. 68 out of 70 hospitals reported. Discharge volume. 55 people have been discharged from the hospital. Taking a look at Philadelphia data for today, we see 718 EMS incidents were reported on Monday. That is a good-sized drop. It was a busy weekend in Philadelphia. However, there was one day that actually dropped below 700 EMS calls. I believe that was back on Saturday or Sunday, if I remember correctly, but there were also a couple days that were over 800 to end last week, which that's never a good thing. Taking a look at Montgomery County, not that busy right now. Around the midday hour, there were 19 calls at once, which was busy. I did see a few ambulances out and about this morning, and I also saw something interesting. I got the Costco's up in Montgomeryville, Pennsylvania. And most people won't know where that is, but I'm leading up to something good here. I got the Costco's after that doctor's appointment right at opening time. I was really surprised. Number one, a lot of seniors at the opening time. That's not what surprised me. I expect that. The number of people I saw masked was quite high. I would say almost near 50% were masked. And a lot of them had these on. N95. So fantastic. If you were one of the people that were in Costco's this morning at opening time, which is 10 a.m., and you were masked, give yourself a pat on the back. I was one of those people. Alrighty, taking a look here. Here's Chester County, Pennsylvania. Not that busy at this time. Let's go to New York State. How about this? Just 900 cases today? Maybe yesterday because of the holiday, not a lot of people got tested over the weekend. I don't know, but hey, 900's a drop, and we'll take that. And overall, if we look at this chart here, can I zoom this in? Pretty sure I can. Let's see what this shows. Here we go. Look at this. The cases at this time in New York State are dropping. So this is good to see. Can we take a look at New York City chart? I do want to see the New York City chart. I guess we're not seeing a New York City chart. I don't know. But the point is, New York State is dropping. We will take a look at New York State here. And here is the hospitalizations. 1,645 people in the hospital. Patients in the ICU, 176. And now let's take a look at New York City. New York City at this time, again, as well, is dropping. Now, we haven't gotten the numbers for the new week yet. And based on cases, you would think maybe we'll see that drop continue. I don't know. We'll see tomorrow. That should come in tomorrow. New York City. This is not New York City. This is New York City. Here we go. Look at this. Wow. Yeah, almost a quick drop now in hospitalizations in New York City. That is great to see. 603 people hospitalized. 69 people in the ICU. Alrighty. Something else I want to show you today, and this is the respiratory illness dashboard from Massachusetts. And taking a look here, it says here in Massachusetts, influenza severity is low. COVID-19 emergency department visit level is low. COVID-19 hospital admission level is low. Now, is that going off of the old or the newer CDC guidelines? I'm not 100% certain, but what I do know is 10.2% of emergency department visits in Massachusetts during the last week were for acute respiratory diseases. So, thought I would show you that. And quickly, let's take a look at a little bit of an international update. Not much that I can show you here. Moving myself back to the right again. But there are some places that are rising. Russia, cases are up 14%. Deaths are up 25%. Romania, cases are down 11%. Deaths are up 15%. Germany, cases up 14%. Deaths are down 12%. New Zealand cases up 20%, deaths up 10%. And then we come down here to Belgium. Cases are up 3%. Bulgaria cases are up 18%. Deaths are up 260%. And then Chile cases up 65%. No deaths reported. Poland just almost about flat now. Just a small 0.3% rise. And then Malaysia cases are up 19%. And we also have Malaysia deaths down 33%. And finally today we will end on Hong Kong, which looks like they may be starting to see a surge. Remember Singapore was rising? Well, Hong Kong is also rising. 16% increase in cases, 150% increase in deaths, 20 versus 8. That does it for today's pandemic update. I think we're going to have another pandemic update again tomorrow. Stay tuned on Twitter. I will tweet if we're going to have one. And I will see you all again next time. However, until next time, you have to do me a few favors. Hit the thumbs up button if you like this video. Subscribe if you want more content like this. And if you know anyone that needs to see this, by all means, share this with them. I will see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, stay safe and have a fantastic evening. Thanks for watching, everyone.